Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much for joining us for our inaugural live streaming conference, a topic that many of you know is really near and dear to my heart. We believe this relatively new approach to commerce was accelerated in the US by the pandemic, and that many of the startups you'll hear from today will discuss their tech and the opportunities and the challenges they're facing as well. We will also hear from large, established, and emerging brands on the successes that they've experienced thus far and really kind of what they're hoping we will see in the future. While we at Coresight are estimating this market at $11 billion this year, from a US perspective, that is a really impressive amount of growth. But as we look at China, it's a $300 billion market already. The rate of growth of live streaming versus other channels is very impressive, and we feel that there's still an unbelievable amount of opportunity. US consumers are becoming increasingly comfortable with the platforms and the opportunity to engage in a live event, ask questions, win lucky draws, purchase special buys and limited time offer quantities, etc. And also, they're really participating in a much more sustainable way of shopping, as returns are 40% less on average when this product is bought in a live stream. A lot of that is because, right, the consumer feels that they're engaging directly with the host, the guest, the creator, and able to ask questions in real time and make real-time decisions. We believe that as you look at the ecosystem and timeline in China, and then see where we are in the US, it is truly self-evident that there is a huge runway here in terms of the opportunity, and we've only just begun. Exciting news for those of you who participated in our 1010 Global Shopping Festival last year. We are excited to announce that we will be repeating this amazing event where retailers, brands, and more generously donated to 13 charity partners last year as part of the festival. One of the biggest differences this year, and why we're announcing it today, is that the event will be 100% live streamed, and we will announce our partners and sponsors very soon. I also want to thank our sponsors today, Gerber Electric Company and Gift Now. Thank you so much for being with us on this journey. And as we want to begin with the tech side of things, which is ultimately what's powering this live streaming, live commerce, I will now hand the stage over to Stephen Winnick from Coresight, who leads our innovator practice to MC the startup competition. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, Deborah, and welcome everyone to the Innovator Showcase session. Thank you all for joining us today. We have some extremely exciting companies that will be pitching their solutions in this Shark Tank style session, in which we really curated 5 growth stage innovators that are truly disrupting the live streaming space. You know, as Deborah illustrated, the growth in live streaming in the US has been accelerated due to not only the pandemic, but also due to online shopping and different trends of consumer shopping behavior that seem to be here for the long run. So these companies today, they're very well funded. They're in the market. They're working with notable retailers and brands. And we wanted to showcase them in this Shark Tank-like style format. Because as we continue to dive into this journey of live streaming, there are so many different solutions and partners out there, and finding the correct platform and tool is really critical to developing a successful live streaming commerce strategy. Before we jump in, I'd like to introduce our judges panel. We have a very esteemed group of 4 judges today from different backgrounds and different industries. First off, we have Carlos Alberini, CEO of Guess. We have Ken Harrell, co-founder and senior managing director at Ferris. We have Oren Perron, managing director of Retail Innovation Club. And last but not least, we have Sarah Williams, brand educator and spokesperson at T3. In terms of the format, each company will have a total of 6 minutes for their presentation, 3 minutes to pitch, and 3 minutes of Q&A from the judges. We encourage the audience to participate, so we've included polls that will launch after each session, and these polls will mimic actually the judging criteria. So we definitely encourage everyone to rate, participate, ask questions during and after the sessions. Once the pitches are over, we'll have the judges deliberate and we'll come back with an announcement of the winner later in the program today. The winner of the competition will receive a prize by our sponsor, Gift Now. So very exciting, and we are looking forward to what the presenters have to say and the outcome. So without further ado, we'll have Adi Ronan, CEO and founder of Buy With, kick things off.
Okay, so hi everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Adi, and we're Buy With, and we are building the future of live stream shopping. Next, so we at Buy With developed the ultimate online shopping live stream experience that enables influencers, experts, celebrities, and brand representatives to host virtual shopping events directly on the e-commerce site using only a smartphone. So no integration needed, no equipment needed, and no download in-app. Our user experience is based on the e-commerce site itself, while the host can navigate from product to product, give the recommendations in real time using our unique smart screen sharing technology that we filed a patent about. Also, we have the video of the host, the chat of the viewers, and the want button that enables people to add the item directly to the shopping cart. We have some other features, like you can make the video much bigger, you can use our multi-host features, our desktop version, and the brands can actually customize to the brand's colors. And we have this fully registration process where people can save their spot, they can leave their phone number and email address, and it's enabled the brands to communicate with them. So most of the companies that you would see here today are using this QVC experience. And we at Buy With, we are different. We developed the next gen of live stream shopping. We call our user experience the Shop With Me experience that is built for massive scale. So this is an example of a case study that we had with MAC Cosmetics. They had 8 times higher conversion rate to sales, 70% higher average order value, and 68% users engagement. We also recently launched a live stream shopping marketplace of content creators. So we created this community of influencers and we are screening them in advance. So let me show you a short video where you can see our user experience.
Hi everyone! How is everyone?
Belvesteri, es que es tan bonito.
Make sure to click the want button to save the item. Yes, so you guys can actually basically add it to your cart.
Ooh, this like structured shoulder bag. Very, very cute.
So these I love. They kind of go with everything. They're also great with jeans.
But it just looks like this.
Fantastico. Per me è un salvavita perché a volte magari non ho molto tempo con la piccolina, non mi trucco tantissimo, quindi correttore e mascara.
And thank you for shopping with me. I hope I see you guys again soon.
So we love our clients and they love us. For instance, MAC Cosmetics said that we created this extraordinary virtual experience, and we hope that you would join us to build the future of live stream shopping. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adi. Let's transition to the judges for some Q&A.
Hey, Adi, a great presentation. My question is, how does the shopping work on the e-commerce side? So does your app actually integrate into the native checkout of the brands that you work with?
Yes, so it's a great question. We actually have 2 options for our clients. We can work without any code integration or with just one line of code integration. And then we can actually integrate to the shopping cart of the e-commerce site itself. So the purchase happens directly on the e-commerce site. We're not interfering in this process, but we can integrate to the cart. So during the live, people can click on a want button and add the item directly to the cart with their preferences.
Awesome.
Hi, Eddie. This is Carlos. I wanted to ask you about geographic opportunities here. Is this a solution that you see operating in every market worldwide?
Yes, definitely. So currently we're working in many countries in Europe, we're working in the US, we're working in the Middle East. For us, it doesn't matter actually, because the only thing that we need is an e-commerce site, and that's it. And another thing that I would say here that is important to say that to use Bywith, you don't need to have any equipment or studio or camera. The host of the session can do it directly from the mobile phone. Just hold the phone like this, browse the site, and the camera is recording her or him. So you can do it from anywhere in the world. We see that with content creators, for instance, they're doing it from the hotel sometimes because they're traveling a lot. So for us, in terms of geographic, we can do everything.
So the onboarding is very fast too.
Yes, so because we can work without any code integration with the site or with just one line of code, our onboarding is around a week, and then you can do as many sessions as you want. So it's very, very fast compared to other companies in the landscape. And we don't need to actually integrate with the entire catalog of the site. Everything, our technology is very smart. We filed a patent about it, and it works very fast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Adi. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Sophie Freres, co-founder and CEO of Lisa. Sophie, take us away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that. My name is Sophie. I am the co-founder and CEO of Lisa, eRetail's live shopping assistant. We actually believe that the future of live commerce, even for retailers, is community-led. We're also a SaaS solution provider, and actually the example you see here on the right-hand side is Charlotte Tilbury using our software to enable live shopping within their own online shop. So as we've all said, and I'm sure you all know, consumer needs are changing very rapidly. On the one hand, we see that there's really strong desire for social interaction when people spend time online. We also see that there's a really increased need as more and more products become available for curation and for assistance in discovery. And finally, and this is the one which might be the hardest to wrap our heads around, is that there's a real desire for entertainment, but it should be authentic. In fact, user-generated content is found to be 5 times more effective to create conversion than brand-created content. Therefore, at Lisa, we actually encourage the retailers that we work with to embrace the reality of how brand perception really is created today. So what you see on the left-hand side is like your classical view of how, brands or us as retailers, I used to work for a retailer, I still say us, can influence customer perception. And we feel that there's these channels which we have where we can manage and curate the content and therefore control the experience. But the reality is a bit closer to what we see on the right-hand side. So as we all know, other people tend to influence our purchasing decisions and therefore our brand decision a lot more strongly than we might like to accept. So now for the million-dollar question, as an e-retailer, how can I use live shopping to leverage the power of my community to build this kind of perception by the community, but in a way that I can do it organically and in a controlled way? So one option you have, of course, is to build your own live shopping channel where you control the content and curate the content and maybe invite different members of your community to host individual events. That actually has a great impact on ROI already, and we have a lot of customers who are very successful with this model. However, and this is what we look over at the right-hand side, the challenge we see that's coming up for the next 1 to 2 years for e-retailers is the question, how can they leverage their community and use live shopping in a way that the community is driving it and creating content which is a lot more authentic and therefore a lot more likely to convert with your audience. Next slide, thank you. Therefore, at Lisa, we're really targeted at large brands, e-retailers, and marketplaces. And we see ourselves as the SaaS partner for live and social commerce of choice, because our turnkey solutions allow you to engage with your audience in the most joyful, seamless, and highly scalable way. So what does community-led live shopping look like? So here's an example of Depop using our newest released multi-host capable turnkey solution. Depop is a marketplace, so they can use our software to give as many sellers as they want access to individual live shopping accounts to go live and sell directly through the Depop app. Next, please. And here's an example of Charlotte Tilbury, which runs up to 12 shows per week, hosted by 20 brand reps with up to 90% engagement rates and 35% conversion rates. And final example that I wanted to share is Avon USA. We worked with them in 2020, and between just 2 weekend events, which they hosted for their community of brand representatives, they made $1.3 million in product sales. And so, final slide. Just to sum up, really, with everything we do, with all the product benefits we have of our products, at the heart of everything we do is your growth and your community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sophie. Very impressive numbers on some of those case studies. Let's transition to the judges for any questions.
Yeah, I just have a question about brand control. How do you control the brand experience when you are giving this opportunity to so many people to interact with the system?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the $1 million question, right? And the way we suggest our customers to do it is step by step. So let's say a premium department store chain we're working with in the US is currently experimenting with giving individual channels to their sales staff. And their sales staff is inviting each, let's say 100 of their top VIP customers for more secluded, let's say, live shopping events. Of course, they do trainings with them beforehand, and they're finding the results off the back of these, let's say, more sub-regional live shopping events to be really compelling. And that's step one. And then step two might be to consider how to invite other content creators or influencers that they've partnered with in the past, give them access to their own live shopping accounts. So mindfully, step by step.
Thank you.
I have a question. So since this platform is more user-generated focused, is there the ability to download that content and utilize it on other channels, whether it's on a PDP or on social channels?
Yeah, so there's always the ability to watch recorded versions which are still shoppable within the same experience, or to download the content and reuse it wherever the content creators want to. Yes.
How do you help new customers come in, and how much data are you able to collect through this process?
So we actually have 3 products in our portfolio. One, which is more similar to Buy With, which requires 0 integration and can be set up within 2 days. Then we have a native solution, which requires a bit more integration, roughly takes 1 to 2 weeks. And then the multi-host capable turnkey solution takes us 2 to 3 weeks usually to get a customer set up.
Great. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Joffrey, Chief Executive and Sales of Marketing from LiveScale. Joffrey, take it away.
Thank you, Stephen. Hi, Shark. Nice to meet you all through this format, and thanks Coresight for the welcome. So at LiveScale, we're a live shopping solution for bold consumer brands. Next. So we've developed this amazing team. So we built this team of experts coming from all over the globe to bring this expertise and this knowledge to our clients. So live shopping is still new for Western countries. So that's why this expertise and this global knowledge is key for them to success. So we're not only built this global company, we've built an ecosystem that is changing e-commerce forever. Next. So live shopping is not new, as shared by Deborah at the beginning. 11 billion in terms of opportunity for the US market. When you look at China, it's been there for 10 years already, and it's already contributing to 12% in terms of e-commerce revenue for e-commerce in China specifically. Next. And what it does today, 3 times more sales, 6 times more sales, 15 times more engagement during live shopping sessions rather than live streaming sessions. Next. So our solution and what we've developed our solution on 3 core principles. The first one is the power of live. We want the brands to stand out through their video. So we made a multi-cloud platform that allows them to have any resolution and quality when it comes to the video content they're proposing through the solution. Second, the integrated checkout. As you can see on this picture here, the experience for the viewer, they can buy the products directly in the video experience, so they don't have to leave that. And third, we made it very easy for our brands to be able to share the live shopping experience across multiple websites and destinations and social media. Next. What it brings them is 39% in terms of sales conversion rate. So that's what they can expect in terms of sales conversion rates. 40% in terms of engagement. So through the gamification features that we've included as part of the experience, they're able to collect this information from the viewers as well. And 50% new customer acquisition through the multi-distribution of the solution across multiple websites and social media. Next. So we're different, and going back to the three core components of the brand, the experience. So starting a live shopping journey for a brand, it comes to defining new approaches and making sure that the live shopping journey they're starting matches their brand DNA and their marketing strategies. So that's why we bring all our experts towards our clients for them to build and get started with this. Second, the integrated checkout. It's all integrated to our clients' e-commerce system. So it means that all the orders and all the fulfillment are handled real time by them directly. And at last but not least, multi-distribution. So thanks to this experience, they can share it on their website, but also on multiple partners' website and social media. And they have the full control over what's happening on the experience, and they have access to all the data that's generated through their live shopping experiences. Next. So if we see the trend going up from 2019, from apparel, fashion to beauty, we saw last year more and more industries adopting live shopping, so food and groceries, as well as consumer electronics. And we're proud to be partnering with brands such as NYX, that is a first woman-funded intimate game changers, and brands like Lancôme, who wants to reinvigorate their sales and marketing strategy by including live shopping into their perimeter. Next. And as an example, and 2 months ago, Sephora and L'Oréal partnered together. So it's also a way for our clients and the brands to find new innovative ways to partner with their existing ecosystem. And they came up with this first beauty festival in North America that led to an increase of sales of 3 times more sales than e-commerce, 50% new customer acquisition, and more than 40% in terms of engagement rates. Next, and that's it.
Great. Thank you, Geoffrey. Just transition over for the last minute and to the judges for Q&A. Thank you.
I'm super interested in that sharing to multiple sites perspective. So I work with T3, which is a smaller brand. And we would love to simulcast, so it goes to Nordstrom, but then you check out on the Nordstrom site, and it goes to Macy's, and you check out on the Macy's site. Is that what you mean by multiple sites?
So the experience, the live shopping experience that our clients create, they can integrate it, embed it, such as a YouTube video. When you export the code of the video, you can put it on many pages, so that's exactly what's happening. And it works also the same on social media, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have a question about inventory. Just I read about in some of the descriptions of your company that you focus and enable retailers to integrate and manage their inventory and live storefronts across channels. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? How do you use the inventory so efficiently with your product?
Well, we don't use it, so to speak, because it's really connected to our client system. So the strength of our solution is that we will connect initially live scale to our client's system, e-commerce system, so that everything regarding inventory and fulfillment is really handled by them. So live scale doesn't take care of it. That's really, and we have multiple integration possible. So our client can decide how far they want to go with the integration, so they can keep it very simple and can take it very deep as well when it comes to have it fully integrated, even with the payment provider integrated as part of the solution.
Okay, so it depends on the strength of the systems of the company that you are integrating with.
It depends on how far our clients wants to go when the integration, when it comes to the checkout. They can keep it simple, or they can go full integration, which will be connected again to their inventory and fulfillment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you, Geoffrey.
Thank you, Stephen.
Next, we have up Sergin, founder and president of Qdo.
Hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here with you. Sorry for the sunglasses. You know, I'm in holidays and I had a visual issue with my eyes. So as I prefer to look like Lady Gaga than to Rocky Balboa, I will keep them if you're okay with that. Anyway, we founded Quiddle in 2018 with the strong belief that interactive live video streaming is the future of the relationship between the brands and the consumers. Since that moment, we've run more than 5,000 shows, live shows, partnering most of the time with large companies and brands like Carrefour, Casino, Peugeot, Fnac Darty, and so on, to help them engaging with their audience and consumers via live shows, including brand storytelling and gamified interactions, synchronizing up to 300,000 users at the same time. Since 2020, we added 2 additional capabilities to our platform, e-commerce layers so that the brands can directly sell their products during the shows, and a white label layer dedicated to them, easily integrable anywhere. This way, Quiddle and its clients joined the live shopping revolution, which dramatically changes and improves customer experience, both in digital and real life, and is the perfect mix between the two. We truly believe that it's a long-term shift and not just hype. So now let's just focus on what we stand for and truly believe our differences. The first thing, tech is at the core, but must be forgotten. The platform is built to provide the consumers with the best experience possible. So obviously, Quiddle platform is robust, scalable, and adaptive. It can run shows on mobile or desktop, portrait or landscape, web or app, whatever the video source, mobile, computer cam, or professional studio, and can be multicasted on social networks too. Everything is done for a perfect and simple user experience. 2, entertainment is key for engagement and revenue generation. And that's a strong belief at Quiddle. And that's why we focus our energy on both a narrative show, including a real story script for our speakers, video insert, music, billboards, challenges and animation, credits, etc. Everything looks like modern and engaging TV shows. But we also add interactive layers with live chat, product cards, and go-to-basket call to action, but also MCQs and polls, which can provide the brands with really added value data, by the way. 3, we truly believe large companies need full service solutions for the live shopping. So that's why we offer a full managed service solution that can include, but it's not mandatory, creatives, video production, professional studio, speakers, and key opinion leaders casting, scripting, and so on. So everything is consistent, agile, affordable, and doesn't multiply useless intermediaries, suppliers, or costs. Yet we can work with the agency if need be, of course. 4, long tail, small companies, shops, DNVBs, and key opinion leaders are also true game changers. And we truly believe they will take part of this revolution and grow their revenues through live shopping. And they need an open platform to do so. So that's why we've launched an open web self-service platform for live shopping available to anyone.
Sergey, I just want to leave some time for Q&A here. So I'm going to transition to the judges. Sorry to stop you short.
Okay.
Is the self-service platform, is it integrated with all social media platforms?
Yes, you can definitely create your show, manage it, and multicast it via your website or the social networks if you want.
And you have you've already launched it, and is there evidence of traction now?
Yeah. So we've just started beginning of the summer, and we already had many different clients. Amongst them, we have a client from Switzerland. We have clients from different countries, and so that grows pretty rapidly.
So,
the connection.
Sorry. No, go ahead, Oren.
Thank you. How do you see the connection to the physical store? You mentioned it. How do you see the salesman standing with an iPad and speaking with a crowd?
We've already experienced that with Carrefour as an example. You know, when we run the show and then we put the video at least 2 weeks after the show, the replays on the site, we can see that it continues to generate sales online, but also like, you know, via coupons or spatial animation, we can see that everything is used to go and shop in the real live shop. So we've already tracked that.
Sergine, I have a question. It looks to me that your company has a lot of expertise in providing editorial, video production, live shooting, filming services. Is that the vast majority of your business, or is more technology driven?
It is technology driven, but as we know that companies still need us to accompany them, we have developed a set of services, added value services to help them.
And is that the lion's share of your revenues, or vice versa?
No, it's really small because the technology is the core business, but it's really added value for our clients to benefit from this additional services.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you so much. Our last innovator of today is Amitabh, Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Vizx by Omniway.
Hello. Did you hit play on that? So yes, we're going to introduce you to Vizx by Omniway. As you've seen, a lot of live stream commerce has been focused on e-com for now. They're missing out a huge opportunity for a true omni-channel live stream experience. So we decided that Vizx would focus on that, and then kind of take into account the unique issues that stores face in terms of store inventory, their client book, reaching out and making a solution that would work not only for the online side of things, but also for the in-store associates to run it anytime they want to, as well as to open it up to any host or influencers they want to bring to the table. So step one was, of course, do it in a way where there's no app needed. So neither the store nor the shopper ever needs an app, but at the same time, have a rich experience that gives all the things that you've seen with every other experience you've seen in there. But then built on top of that is a unique and proprietary omnichannel checkout system that allows for the user to do a checkout, and then depending on the type of event that's created, that checkout can go to the store or to the e-com site. Making it really easy to start, about as easy as doing a FaceTime event was another core component of it. So Vizx can be started in 3 clicks. So if you want to do that on your phone, you can do that in 3 clicks and you're up and running with any audience. Or you can go into more detailed dashboard view and customize the event, set a theme, set media, set inventory, set pricing, set anything you want to do for that particular event through this full control dashboard that we offer. Now, this is really important when you're doing a larger studio event, but on a day-to-day basis, you can do quick. One of the other things we found that a lot of stores are missing was they didn't have all the tools for marketing these events out there. So we actually built that and automated that as part of Vizx. So you can easily get RSVPs, share, you can get follow-on emails, abandoned cart emails, and so forth, and even conduct surveys. You can also take the Vizx links and put them on social media, allowing anyone to view it inside a social media app. But it's not just viewing it, it also allows them to interact and purchase from those events while they're inside of the social media app. This also expands to any influencers you can allow who want to put these links out there and make it a part of their own social media audiences. Vizx is divided into 3 distinct products. Vizx Direct is for more intimate VIP type small group sessions with bidirectional video. Vizx Live is for larger productions where you're doing more webinars type format and it's being sent out from a studio or something like that. And then, of course, Vizx Media, which takes any content that you have, media, audio, any type, and converts it into shoppable content that can be put on any channel that you want. So the results are in. We've been working with a lot of retailers, and of course, the conversion rates are very effective. In fact, what we see is that we're seeing about 10x to 20x higher conversion and add-to-bag rates compared to any other e-com initiative out there. We want you to visit and experience Vizix as soon as you can. So some of your favorite brands and some of the large malls are already partnering with us and bringing this out to retailers in their stores. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
I have a question about the whole checkout process and how your solution integrates with what brands and retailers do.
Yeah, so one of the things we see with stores, a lot of stores do not have modern smart POS systems that could take an online order and process it. So we actually have a proprietary mechanism that allows an order received from an online function such as Vizix to be converted into an in-store checkout using regular card rails that the point of sale allows. We actually also allow the store to set that in a manner where they can run it as a card transaction, or they can run it as an online PayPal or a Shopify type of transaction. Any of those are allowed, but critical to here is to the user, they don't see any difference. They've got a unified checkout flow that's really fast and very similar to a fast checkout flow that's online.
Thank you for the presentation. Just one question. I have. What's the business model and the partnership with your clients?
So the business model is based on it's a licensing model. We are a white label service. Any brand that wants to launch this and have it available to their associates, they can turn it on. So it doesn't have to be run just from a corporate or from the marketing team. It can be run by any store associate. So it opens it up to pretty much anyone in the store, as well as opening it up to any influencers they want to bring onto the platform and curate catalogs that they can create events around. So the business model is essentially based on licensing the technology to them to allow them to use it. And then if certain brands want to work in a different model where they're using some of the marketing functions, they can work on a commission base too.
I have a question. What is the most important value that your company brings?
So we have a very robust digital commerce platform that backs this whole thing. We've been around for about 5 years. We run hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions through that platform. So it's a very robust and secure platform that's been used by large retailers. And then on top of that, the live shopping layer is actually built as a 100% native secure cloud layer that allows for any of these functionalities to be available to pretty much anyone in a manner that's scalable with any opportunity that we see, such as we work with mall operators that want to do multiple events at the same time. They can run it off of just one platform where each retailer can have their own unique experiences while running off of the same platform, and each one of those will look the same.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of our presenters and of course the judges as well for your great questions. We're going to shift gears here and pass it over to our Coresight advisory team that specializes in live commerce to bust some common myths that retailers and brands think are barriers to breaking into live streaming. With that, I'll pass it over to Anna and Bao. Take it away.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that, Stephen. I know Bao and I are really excited to be here with you all today. So Bao and I are going to talk a little bit about some common misconceptions that we frequently hear from clients and across the industry who ask us about live stream commerce. Are you ready to bust some myths, Bao?
Yes, ready.
Awesome. So our first myth is that only big brands can execute live stream shopping. What do you think about that?
That is absolutely misleading. The truth is business of any size can launch live video shopping. With a great numbers of live streaming platform emerging, new brands are growing even faster than they used to be through traditional marketing channels. For example, there are a bunch of startup beauty brands this year joined a live streaming shopping platform called ShopLit, where is a place very popular for beauty fans sharing their product reviews. And one of the skincare brand called Akavi, it kicked off their first live shopping session on this ShopLit platform to all the beauty fan communities and simulcasting to the host Instagram channels, where there's even more 2 million followers on it. So there are just handful case in small to medium-sized business can unlock great marketing potential to target a consumer in a very short time through this interactive experiences. And I'm sure that many people catch the 2 million follower on the Instagram, which leads to our second myth. Celebrities and influencer are the only way to drive sales conversion. What do you think about that? Do you believe it, Anna?
Absolutely not. So, I think we heard it from some of the tech platforms who were pitching with us earlier today. But with live commerce, what's so key about it is the authenticity and to be able to communicate and interact with your followers and your customers. So truly leveraging a store associate or a member from the brand team is what we would think is best. Someone who really knows the product, knows what's being sold, and can really help answer questions that a customer or a viewer might have who's interested in it. While a celebrity and influencer is great to get additional eyeballs on your live and to have more awareness for your brand, one of the Coresight Research surveys actually revealed that 47% of consumers have following of influencers or celebrities on social media. So it does help bring other people on, but we're really finding that it doesn't necessarily convert to sales. So last December, JCPenney had launched a live shopping series called JCP Live on its website and also streamed it onto YouTube and Facebook. But they were leveraging store associates and those with specialty for the brand and the products. And with that, I know we brought up a few fashion and beauty examples. And one of the things I often hear is that only beauty and fashion brands are able to attract viewers onto their live streams. What do you say to that?
Well, that's definitely misleading as well. The truth is anything you can imagine can be sold on live streams. Particularly after the pandemic, many consumers even prefer the flexibilities of shopping from their home. And live stream shopping is just very convenient tools to leverage so that you can continue to develop these relationships with the customer, answer their questions, and explain how to use the products without having them to leave their comfort zones. And like you just mentioned, indeed, there are many Western brands and retailers in beauty and fashion that already achieved great success, particularly in last year. But this year, we've seen so many brands in different sectors arising and integrating live shopping with even a mixed product selections. And I believe this year, many more consumers are getting familiar with live shopping. For example, in this year, April, the Petco hosts a pet fashion show on Facebook Live to promote a dog adoption. And following months, there was LG Electronics promoting their kitchenwares, and it's a live shopping series. And following, there's many more like MediaMart. I even shopped there to get to know how my phone actually works to save more batteries. So we've seen just so many sectors, from really anything you can think of to do the live shopping. And like what we just mentioned, all these new case studies that they've hosted live shopping on their own e-commerce site, at the same time broadcasting to social channels, just like all those kitchen companies mentioned, which leads to our next myth number 4, that social media platform are the most effective live selling channels. Do you think it's true?
So, you know, a very, very common misconception. I think we hear this one very frequently. So brands and retailers are definitely experimenting with additional growth on social and with different marketplaces and being able to leverage influencers, trying to meet the consumer where they're spending a lot of their time. And being able to promote a live stream event that you're going to be hosting on your social, including a link, making it available for a swipe up, or even simulcasting can be great. However, you don't really have the ability to track the customer journey and understand who it is that's actually attending your live and shopping. To be able to control that and to have insights on the data allows you to do a lot of test and learn, which wouldn't be possible through social channels. Additionally, with the technology and being able to do a replay and having that posted on your website or e-commerce or PDP page, as we've heard mentioned earlier today, really helps to do a lot of the conversion and the actual sales. So we're hearing that, you know, as much as 70% of sales from a live stream actually occurs after the live already happened. So being able to have that replay is key. You know, we've seen a number of different brands leveraging technology on their own website. So Nordstrom's is a great example. They're hosting a lot of different live events on their site. I watched a fabulous Burberry pre-fall where they leverage models and had sales associates and in-house stylists talk about the products and help answer questions for sizes and different colorways, which is really important. And then Walmart, you know, actually has done a two-pronged approach to utilizing both social media and streaming on their own site. So I'm excited to hear from them a little bit later as well today too. But that actually is a great segue into the next myth, and it's that to have a live session, it requires a professional studio and video team.
Yeah, that's a common misunderstanding. The truth is anyone can set up a live shopping session. You just simply need a phone and a bright light. Well, for anyone, which I'm talking about, you know, individuals just like me and you, and of course for small to medium-sized business as well, that you just, well, there's 2 ways. Simply first, and the most easiest way, you just log in your social media accounts, either Facebook or Instagram or even Pinterest can do, and then you turn on your phone, and then you set yourself live, and then you promote anything you want to promote. And it's the best to interact with your own friend circle. And alternatively, as we just hear from the tech companies earlier, that you can also manage this self-service live streaming tools just for yourself. Not only they can provide like extra features such as interactions with your audience, and you can even design it better with some editorial functions. And more importantly, you can simulcasting on social channels or to your own websites, and it's just much cooler and effective. And all this you can just done by yourself with a few clicks. So it's really easy to set up yourself.
Yeah, you know, since the pandemic, I've become really interested in the resale market. And I started following a lot of individual sellers and small businesses who all they use is an iPhone and ring light and successfully accomplished a live stream. So with that, Val, you know, I think this was an awesome conversation. We just scratched the surface, and I hope to continue this soon with you. I'm going to hand it over back to Deborah. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna and Bao. Now that we've heard from the platforms making live streams possible, we've busted some myths, we're going to speak with some innovators who are living and breathing live stream commerce and retail. I'm truly honored to introduce Rick Kostick, CEO and founder of 100% Pure, Christina Leike, founder and creative director of Astoria, also Retailers United prodigy, Marie Driscoll, Coresight Research, Tyler Marie Schimpert, founder of Gladys Tyler, and Lisa Mason, jewelry designer, former QVC host, and truly all things live streaming. So Rick, I'm going to kick it off with you. We spoke very early about live streaming, live commerce, and I was truly impressed with the journey that you've been on. How did you originally discover live, and what really kind of drove your interest in the medium?
Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, I first discovered it back in, I want to say it was around 2016 or before, and I was forming a team in China to take advantage of the cross-border e-commerce, and someone showed me, I think it was my wife, showed me a video on an app. It was Taobao, and it was live streaming, and there was a button you press and immediately you buy the product, and there was somebody talking, and probably an influencer, and this just wowed me. It was like, whoa, this is the future. Why does the US not have this? And that piqued my interest, got me into it, and I started exploring it from then on for the past 5 years with a lot of different platforms, a lot of different technology.
Great. Christina, I know that you've experimented with live streaming. What have been some of your greatest challenges?
Yeah, so thank you, Deborah, for having me. Some of the challenges that I've really faced are, it's almost in two different buckets. So you have this one part where you can leverage your social as a live streaming platform, but the social is kind of built around your followers. And as a brand, you always want to grow your followers and you want to convert them. So if you're leveraging social, you might get your consumers in, but you also want to get new consumers in. So there's one part of conversion. There's this other part that, to Rick's point, there's some new platforms, whether they're in China or whether they're in the United States. And we just heard amazing pitches from companies that are integrating great technologies. But now it comes down to, how are you converting someone to go to a new platform? Is there integration into your site, into your website or your social channel? Or if you're asking them to go to a new platform and shop, what are you asking of them? And are you asking them to go into a fragmented shop, or are you asking them to go into agnostic, where everyone's kind of the same touch, look, feel, and what these consumers are from a demographic standpoint?
No, that's really important, I think, critical. And Tyler, I know that you've experimented with live streaming and you've spoken to some experts recently. What are some things that you've learned that you didn't know before?
And thank you so much, Deborah, for having me on this panel. Something that I recently learned actually from Lisa is that when you're doing a live stream and you're waiting for an audience to come on, you don't want to wait for it to build. You want to start talk with the first people that come, want to start engaging. You want to let those people that are first coming on your live stream know that they matter and know that the audience will come in later.
That's really critical, and I think can definitely change the success of some of these streams. Lisa, you've done an amazing job in terms of educating a lot of us, and Tyler in particular. With your prior experience at QVC, what do you see as some of the biggest differences between that platform and live streaming as we know it right now?
Thank you so much, and it's great to be here, and thank you for having me, Deborah. As you know, QVC is highly produced. We're in a professional studio. There's the director, there's the producer, there's the backstage people, and we also have product that has been decided for us. In essence, we are simply a presenter at QVC, and sometimes that's really great. So what is different, obviously, with live streaming for all of us is that we now get to have more control, and it's a beautiful thing. And what I love about all of these new bright faces that are coming up is you're seeing this great innovation. To the point of the previous conversation, all you need is a camera and a light in the back, and you can go do your thing. So the differences is highly produced and highly controlled at QVC and other shopping channels like it, which can be great. But alternatively, this new life that we're living offers such freedom and flexibility and spontaneity so that the presenter can present not just the product, but their true personality in their home setting. We have found with many research polls, people love it. They love seeing and peering into your home. They love seeing and peering into your life. They love that connection. And I think connectivity is so crucial and so vital in this new platform of selling.
That's great. And Rick, I know you've tried many different platforms and you have more experience than most folks I've talked to. What have you found to be the most successful? And maybe without naming names, what have been some of the disappointments along the way as well?
I
Sure.
missed just a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for Rick, just wanting to kind of better understand some of the platforms and what has he found successful and maybe what has been a disappointment along the way.
Absolutely. And the other thing that piqued my interest in this, just a side note, is we worked with Lisa on QVC a long time ago, and that was very successful. She was one of our best hosts. So that was a lot of fun. And that showed me the power of selling through live stream. And what we've tried that was successful, there's a common theme I'm hearing here that's absolutely rings with me, is authenticity is extremely important on live stream. We've utilized our retail staff. There's 3 founders of 100% Pure. We've utilized the founders in live streaming. It's really that authentic, and we've utilized influencers. So that authenticity is very, very important. And then you also need a community effect. Lisa alluded to this, that creates that draw, that kind of social validation that, wow, this is popular. This is cool. Everyone's chatting about it. It makes it just validates the brand. And then very key is also the frictionless buying. This is one of the most important things. And then just going back to the QVC days, I remember when it was so exciting when they had a one button buy on the remote to buy from home shopping. It's the similar thing you need on the live stream. You need that one button buy. That frictionless experience is extremely important. So some of those things are very important. That again, getting to that network effect, because you need users to create that community. That's kind of critical. So you got to build up that base of users to be successful.
Rick, I think you mentioned something really important in terms of, who are your influencers, right? We've always found a lot of success utilizing store associates or even, as you mentioned, CEOs. Tyler, I know you've, kind of had some early steps with influencers. What have you learned from that? And, how are your thoughts changing?
So I know for me with influencers, sometimes it can happen where you send them product and maybe they don't always post when they're supposed to, or they don't describe the product how they're supposed to. So something I've recently learned is that when you are meeting with these influencers and when you have this agreement, you need to show what you're bringing to them and then what they can bring to you, and understand that you're still the boss, and try to make sure that they understand what you need from them, and that they make sure that they understand what they're getting from you as well. And that it's not just a one-way streak of you trying to get something from the influencer or trying to work with the influencer.
That's some great advice. And Christina, I know that you really, you've got a very unique product, and can you talk about, what do you do differently in terms of what you might offer on a live, or how you engage with consumer in a live stream, live commerce environment versus what you might do, kind of D2C?
So I think the biggest thing with live is that, what I've seen work really well in my experience is we've collaborated. And with our unique product, we obviously are very, very city-based. So when we're collaborating in a city community or in a community itself, to Rick's point, this community has, you take one person that might have in almost a collaborative way. So you have someone that might have 10,000 followers, and then I bring to the table X, and another person brings to the table another X amount of thousands of followers. And we come together and we talk about community. And we talk about, because I do these beautiful prints, this collaboration and how we speak and how we talk about the story and everything. When we talk about authenticity is a storyline. It's storytelling in this gorgeous, beautiful way, which really gets the consumers emotionally connected to purchase or to think about it in the future of purchasing. So everything that we do from a live perspective is really storytelling. And the more we can get people kind of pulled together in a community and collaborate, that story just grows and grows, and people just really love it.
Rick, I'm going to just kind of follow up on Christina's comment. You have a very unique product with a, kind of certain value proposition. how have you found live to be a, kind of a great format in terms of, expressing, the unique value prop, but also to educate people really, which I think I always look at live streaming as really this opportunity to educate the consumer, which is why returns are so much less, because they actually know what they're buying. And so, and they understand all the benefits and efficacies and whatnot. So can you kind of talk through that as it relates to 100% Pure?
Yes, this is really core to our brand. And if you go to our website, you really can't get that storytelling on a brand website that you can get in person. So, the clean beauty industry has exploded, and now there's much more competition. And we have deeper, richer stories, but we have difficulty telling them through a watch and read kind of format that a website is. But you put another one of our co-founders, put one of our store associates onto a live stream, and they can really dig into the detail of every ingredient. Not only that, but it's live. So you're getting questions from the audience. You're finding out, what are they interested in? What do you want to hear about? What do you want to be educated on? And you can dive into those little points that are very, very important about your brand, about your products, and that are interesting.
I mean, Tyler, as a founder, I think you have a very unique product as well. And, it's got a great brand history and story. How do you think about using live commerce to tell people, right, what the brand stands for and really about you as the founder?
It's been with using live commerce, definitely working with influencers in that match my primary customer, into growing the brand that way.
That's really helpful. I mean, Chris, looking at, Christina and Rick and Tyler, right, Lisa, they all have a different approach and a different need for live stream, live commerce. What's your advice to brands when they're, kind of getting started, and what can they hope to achieve through this, new medium?
Oh, I think it's a great question, and thank you. I think for me personally, whether it's a newbie just starting or even an established brand, don't forget, go back to the basics. What are the basics? What we've just been talking about. Authenticity. Right now, I'm not just live streaming my own product, but I consult with brands, whether it's for the influencer or for the brand spokesperson, to remember that we need to still connect with the viewer. There is just one person you're speaking to, even though you might have 10 million followers, to remember we're speaking one-on-one with that person. And let me tell you something, never more important than right now, because we're not in stores with our customers. They can't see us. So it's so important to remember basic things like identify the item, describe it with great, rich, full words, whisper-like texture of the moisturizer, the silky smooth feeling of the undergarment of the 14-karat gold ring, etc. Identify, describe, enchant, put it in her life. I watch so many influencers and celebrities and spokespeople, and you hear a lot of I statements. I love it. I think it's great. You must have it because I think it's great. It should really be more you statements. Paint the picture for her as she's wearing that cashmere sweater and that beautiful boot as to what she may be doing. Put it in her life and then ask for the sell. Don't forget, we are still here to sell. So the idea is to connect, and you are the connector. To connect, you must be your most authentic self. Always provide the promise. Always, always value relationship. And understand we can't overcome obstacles, but we can manage them. How would you do that? Well, if I'm selling 5 items, if I'm Tyler, or I'm Chris, I'm selling 5 items. My first item might be very expensive. You could say something along the lines of, hey, if $75 isn't in your budget today, I've got something for $25 coming up in 5 minutes to stay right there. Keep them there, keep them engaged, but above all else, value the relationship. People ask me all the time, but I don't want to take up too much time. Lisa, who should I think I'm speaking to? My best friend? No, you think of the person that you have the most revere for, the person you respect the most, the person for whom you would be devastated if you disappointed them. That's who you're speaking to. And if you go through the details succinctly, you really let that customer know exactly what they're getting, they're going to keep that item, because all of us in this room watching knows it does no good if you sell it if it comes right back in the door. Not only do you have return to vendor, which none of us want, but you might have lost the trust of that valued person. Our field of competition is going to explode. We all know that, and that's exciting. But it also becomes more important than ever to hone in on basics, and that is connecting with that viewer.
I mean, Lisa, I think that's, this idea that, right, the live stream is also kind of, right, you're like journey mapping. And I think that's a really good point, right? So in 5 minutes. I mean, either I'm going to have a giveaway or I might have something that's more affordable, or I'll have 5 of one. I think that's great. And then secondly, I mean, one of the things that, right, we learned at Coresight very early on is just the amount of time, right, to spend on a single item, right? Because I was like, that just seems like a lot of time. But ultimately, right, as Rick kind of said, right, you're going through all of the ingredients and whatnot. I mean, the consumer wants to know that on the other side. And I think, you as a founder, as a sales associate, et cetera, you have a different relationship with the product. So I think that's some great advice. I mean, Maria, I'm going to turn to you for advice. What advice do you have for retailers and brands who are either just getting started or who have experimented so far and are still kind of trying to figure out their own journey as it relates to live streaming?
So I think we've heard it during the course of most of the presentations today. It's about authenticity. It's about connections, building community. It's about really, if you're doing this, you want to be authentically your brand. What does your brand what do you mean as a retailer? Use people that are passionate about the brand. We talked about, I think Anna mentioned using sales associates, using nano or micro influencers, people that understand the brand, can talk to the brand, express enthusiasm for the brand, and in that it's communicated to the audience. Lisa talked about, treating this platform as though you were talking to someone who you really revered. That's so important in like maintaining eye contact and being there. What's so exciting about live streaming for me is it's the best of physical retail and online retail. Online retail is right there at your home when you want it. It gives you the opportunity for product discovery, for product learning. You know how we look into each of the ingredients as we're online doing discovery. And in-store is all about creating experiences, being involved with the brand, and you get both of them. And you get a sense of immediacy and connection with live streaming. So our advice is do it often, be committed to it. Don't think you're going to do it perfectly. Part of being authentic is learning and iterating and making changes as you go. And not to let perfection be the enemy of the good. Go ahead and do it.
I think that's really interesting, Marie, because, what we've seen is just it's not that practice makes perfect either. It's just practice. We just learn more and we have more data and we kind of get a better sense of the opportunity in front of us. And so I think that's a very good point. And just, it's just getting started. And we're often asked, right, should we do these weekly? Should we do these monthly? And I'm like, I think having a regular cadence is what's, best. And then last point is what's really interesting to us in US live streaming is somewhere between 2/3 and 72% of the purchases occur after the stream. So it's like you said, right? They're taking kind of, in some cases, maybe they've been at the physical store or they've watched the stream, they visited the website, but there is this kind of education process. And then I think, because of some of the journey is not, as Rick said, you don't just see it, kind of buy it, push a button. But that is also very interesting to us. So in some cases, understanding, right, the financial benefits of the stream can be, also kind of disconnected from the stream as well. So we have about a minute and a half left. And so I want to ask our brands. So we'll start with Tyler, and I want the same, kind of question for each of you. So lightning round here is, what piece of advice do you wish you had had at the beginning of your live streaming journey that you didn't?
Definitely
Tyler?
To make sure. Yep. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay. So definitely to make sure that influencers know what I also bring to the table. I believe that my biggest struggle lately, like as far as like this past season, has been making sure that influencers know that they're not just giving me a service, but I'm also giving them a service. So I'll definitely tell like other emerging designers, other emerging brands to make sure that you let influencers know what you're bringing to them as well.
I love that. All right, Christina?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned as I've gone into live streaming, and I know this sounds so simple, but it's confidence. You walk in, I mean, live streaming, it's not acting, it's authentic, it's your storytelling, but there is this place that your voice and smiling, I mean, this is all about connecting with your consumer and connecting to that consumer on that one-on-one approach. And when they enter the live stream, hi, Erica, how are you? Things of that nature, you've got to really be approachable instead of just saying, oh, here's this amazing product, this is what it's about. It's actually so much about confidence and approachability.
All right, Rick, we're going to close it out with you.
All right. For me, it was, I wish I knew, don't invest too much into one live streaming. Test with different platforms, test with different formats, do a lot of testing, test and learn and iterate, and you're going to get better over time, but don't invest a lot into one because you need to do small tests and find out what works for you. It's going to be different for different brands.
Great. Christina, Lisa, Tyler, Marie, Rick, I mean, this is amazing. Thank you all for being so open and authentic in terms of sharing today. I want to turn the floor over to Ken Fenyo, who leads Global Advisory for Coresight, to continue the conversation. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks, Deborah. I really appreciate the panel we just heard. Now that we've heard from the innovators, we wanted to turn the attention to some of the established brands and retailers and hear more about their experience with live streaming and get some lessons learned. We're joined today by a fantastic panel. We have Kim Tunick, who's a Senior Director and Head of Brand Experiences and Partnerships at Walmart. Bob DeLorean, who is the CEO of Excel Brands. We have Ian Ginsberg, who is the owner and president at C.O. Bigelow Chemists. And finally, Allison Hopp, who is the VP of Commerce at Ministry of Supply. Hoping to get a great panel discussion here, but why don't we kick it off, Kim? Walmart's been an innovator and a leader in the live streaming space. It'd be great just to get a sense from you. What have you been most excited about? And also maybe what are some of the challenges you found in live streaming as you've tested this new medium?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ken, for having us. At Walmart, we're so excited about the potential of live stream shopping. But what gets us really the most excited is actually all the other brands and retailers that are getting on board. While consumer adoption and viewership has certainly accelerated over the pandemic, which has been alluded to earlier, the consumer behavior of live shopping is still very nascent here in the US. So the more we collectively as brands and retailers continue to offer this new way of shopping to our customers, the more the behavior will change and therefore grow the overall market and opportunity for us all to continue to test and learn into. So for us, it's really been incredible to test into it. It's a test and learn for us for sure. But having these two-way conversations and engaging our customers in new ways has been what's been, most eye-opening. Specifically, as a mass retailer, it's been really incredible to see what categories and types of products are resonating best and with what, audiences. So it's been a great learning process of consumer behavior, wants, and needs for us in particular.
That's great. I want to know if anyone, Allison, I know you would maybe be curious to hear yours as from the Ministry of Supply.
Yeah, absolutely. I think someone had mentioned earlier that kind of no matter how big or small you are, that it can be a tool that you can leverage. So, I think we're very much on the opposite end of that spectrum from someone like Walmart, where we're a 15-person team, pretty small in terms of resources. But I think what we've been the most excited about is being able to replicate that in-person shopping experience. So I think we've always said about our product in particular, if we can just have a conversation with someone about it, that you can instantly click into kind of what we're selling and what we do and kind of what our ethos is. So I think being able to eliminate kind of those inorganic barriers that typically exist between, content creation or marketing platforms, or some of the other ways of targeting customers, it's a huge unlock to be able to kind of have that one-on-one conversation. And I think the biggest challenge there too for us is, as a smaller brand, and I imagine even larger brands deal with this as well, is kind of investing in the resources and kind of who runs it, how do you run it? It is such a new piece of so many businesses that even defining, what is the return on this? What is a good outcome? What is an okay outcome? I think it's definitely a challenge, but one that we're in particular very excited about.
Great. Thanks very much. Why don't we turn, I was going to turn to you for a minute, and I'm curious, we talk a lot about how important is this vehicle going to be for retailers and brands, but from your point of view, is this are you looking at it as more of a marketing vehicle? Is it more of a sales vehicle? Where does it fit into your strategy?
So the short answer is it's both, but for us, we started streaming many years ago to China, and for us, it was really a marketing tool where to build brand awareness in a place where we thought we had some good opportunities. We had seen a lot of traffic here from Chinese tourists, and we thought this was just another way to add brand awareness to drive people in. We also were learning a lot. So while we're interacting with people in live streaming, you get to learn a lot about what they like, what they don't like. It's like the old days of QVC where you'd get in real time the phone call volume. So you can see in real time what people are responding to. So yes, it's a marketing tool because it gets us to tell our story, bring our, retail experience live to people in other places, but also, but in a means to an end for ultimately we want to sell a lot of stuff as we all want to do. But for us, marketing is great because we're a little place here in New York and we get to bring that story elsewhere.
Well, that's fantastic. Does anyone else have thoughts on that and maybe a different point of view on how to use this for marketing versus sales?
So Ken, as you know, we've been at this for over 11 years and certainly have done a lot of volume in interactive TV. So a lot of what I'm hearing today is sort of a given for us. We know how to do the shows, we know how to produce. We have a good sense of what the metrics could be. Every organization has its WIG or its wild important goals. For us, it's sales per minute, and we do have the comps to know what we should be doing per minute relative to, let's say, the benchmark that's out there in interactive television today. And our view on what should the goals and objectives of live streaming be is you can think of it in terms of three buckets. First is sales and commerce. Second is marketing, engagement, and entertainment. And third is education. Education having two sort of sub buckets, let's call it styling and product information. And my advice for anyone that's entering this space now is you have to make sales your primary intent. If you get that part of it right, marketing.
Not sure if I froze or if Bob froze there.
I think
he froze on a real cliffhanger.
Great. Actually, it's interesting. I mean, it seems like there's definitely the sales end of it is an important part of it. I mean, Kim, I'm curious from you. You've both done both stuff on social media as well as on your own side. I'm curious if you have a different point of view on how you're looking at live streaming at this point.
Yeah, as part of the brand experiences team at Walmart, we think about it as much more than just sales or marketing. We think about it as a way to engage with customers in much more meaningful fashion than we've ever been able to do before. So for us, it's really not just about sales. I mean, finance team might kill me for saying that, but it's about creating a sense of community and building brand trust, which is imperative for us as this largest retailer. To really have a channel to be able to do that in a new way has been pretty impactful for us. So it allows us to have those valuable and even fun two-way conversations with our customers and remove that friction within their shopping experience. So we like to think of it as, sell first, entertain second, but in some instances, depending on the product, depending on, the host or what the theme is, that might even flip for us. So we see it as a brand tool as well as a sales tool.
Kim, I would agree there. Community is critically important in live stream selling. And what we have found is we build community around brand, around show time, and then around host and guest. And that makes the connections that bring the customer back to engage with the brand. And my advice for any retailer coming into this, because we've been talking to many large and small retailers about this, own it, because the most important thing is your brand and engaging with your customers. And that I do believe is critically important. We do it on behalf of QVC and HSN and other networks around the world. We broadcast in 8 countries today, but we also do it on our own platforms. And building community, I would think for most startups, is the hardest part of this, because you can have a great show, great product, great host and guest, but you need an audience, and building that audience can be challenging.
Great. And Bob, maybe I'll stick with you for just a minute. I'd love to know the opinion of some of the other panelists, but you have experience both in interactive TV and now in live streaming. I'm curious, if there were the 1 or 2 things or pointers you'd give, what are the things that really make a live stream successful in your mind? What are the couple things you really have to get right to be successful in this medium?
So it starts with planning. The show must be planned properly. Second, you need the right production room. It won't work, generally speaking, if you just put a guest and a host on air, give them some product and let them go, because like everything else in life, Murphy's Law tends to have its place in everything. And the merchants can think they have the best product on earth, and they've priced it right, and they've created all the calls to action to engage with the customer. But it doesn't always work. And you have to prep the show properly. Your producer is the on-air real-time coach for the guest and the host to get them either to stay with an item or move to another item. And you really have to have your product over-prepped for the show for when Murphy's Law does take over and it doesn't work quite the way you thought it would. And I can tell you, having done this for many years and spent time in the infomercial business as well, not all days and all hours are equal. And some days you can have this pen and it does really well, and on another day it doesn't. And sometimes you really can't explain that. So you need to be ready in the show to maximize that airtime so that you are engaging with the customer and you are making it a great experience for them.
That's great. Anyone help? I'm curious for the rest of the panel if you found anything different or similar things to Bob in terms of what really makes a great event or show. Ian, what do you think from yours? I mean, you're having a unique business because you've also been live streaming into China. I'd be curious to hear what you found.
Yeah, I mean, so I agree with him. Sometimes they react to certain things, some days they don't, and there's no rhyme or reason why or why not. God knows, something could be happening that day, and all of a sudden the traffic is just off, or the people are just off. But I do agree that where it's done and how it's done are a big part of the story. I mean, they definitely look for trust. They look for brands that are real. They look for authenticity. So the way you can, here's your opportunity when you're one-on-one, pretend you're one-on-one with the consumer, and so you have their attention. So use that time wisely and use it to and find a way to entertain them, to keep them engaged, and to hit them somewhere here. Again, any purchase, whether in store or online, is emotional, and so here's your opportunity. This is, when you really think about it, it's something you would have dreamed about years ago, being able to speak one-on-one with people in an uninterrupted space or time where they've signed on to watch you. So it's a great opportunity, so seize it. So we've learned that, and we also sometimes let them interact with us, and we take the conversation where they want us to go within reason. So sometimes it goes off the rails, so be prepared, because sometimes it'll go places where you didn't expect.
Yeah, that's interesting. We do find it from our own experiences that spontaneity can be a real driver of the experience. So totally agree. You'd mentioned authenticity, and I know a few of the panels and discussions have talked a little bit about who should you have as your host, and how do you think about influencers and your own employees. Alice, I'd be curious for you. I mean, how have you thought about the person you have on camera? Are you using influencers? Or are you thinking more of it as your own associates? Great to hear what you've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us getting started, we've actually had a lot of luck using internal resources. So one of our co-founders, his name is Gihan, is incredibly knowledgeable and incredibly passionate. We kind of joke with him that he has a fan club. So we've really got this community that looks to him. We call him kind of our own Miss Frizzle, because he's just so good at kind of explaining the technology behind our product and why it works the way that it does in a way that's really understandable. So we've really started there, right? We know that we know our product better than anyone does, and it's kind of given us some tools to be able to work up to potentially working with, say, micro influencers, which is a strategy we've had success with in our marketing campaigns as well. So very much looking forward to expanding that. But for right now, we've had a lot of luck, really speaking genuinely about it from internal resources.
That's great. Maybe I want to switch gears slightly. Excuse me. Another thing we've talked a little bit about and heard in some of the other discussions today has been around this idea of, should I be live streaming from my own site? Should I be leveraging social media? I'd be curious, maybe Bob, I'll start with you. What are you finding to be the most successful, and maybe how do you use these different channels in different ways as part of your overall strategy?
So we like to start with the core, where it's internal to us. We drive the customer to our own platform, and we control the data, and we own the customer relationship. We do use as a marketing tool simulcast into all social platforms, and we're testing Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and even TikTok, but we don't rely on those social media platforms to really engage with our customer beyond just marketing. It's all captive in our own platform.
I see. Interesting. I wonder if anyone else has had a different experience, or I know some of you have done things on social media in your own. I'd be curious if what you found so far, and if there's any differences as you think about those two in your strategy. I don't know, Kim, I know that you've done a bit of both.
Yeah, we started by live streaming first on TikTok, and they've been a great partner to us. But what we've developed since is a bit more of a simulcasting strategy, similar to what Bob was talking about. So we've built walmart.com/live, and from there we host and then simulcast in order to appeal to the audiences that we are looking to engage for the particular products or theme that we're talking about. So for instance, if we're selling something like Bubble, which was a great new product line at Walmart, skincare exclusive at Walmart, it really is focused on Gen Z. So that was a very obvious TikTok play for us, but it would, of course, be silly to not have that live on our own site, and to Bob's point, own that data and get deeper insight into the customer purchasing funnel. So we've really enjoyed this dual path of owning the data and the experience, but also being able to simulcast and reach those audiences through other social platforms at the same time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's
go ahead, Allison. Sorry.
I was gonna say, no, an important note, I like that you just mentioned you started on TikTok. We talk a lot about what's in our sandbox right now, meaning, what technology or what platforms do we have available without kind of an investment up front. And that's a piece of advice that I would give as well, of use the resources that are available to you, and then you get data and you learn how to invest in kind of your own infrastructure going forward.
That's interesting. Ian, maybe I'll just curious for you, since you have an interesting experience of having started actually live streaming into China, and I believe now you're expanding into the US, how you've thought about that mix of how do you reach your audience and channels?
So for China, we've been working with a group called Shop Shops that started. We were one of their first clients back a couple of years ago. And so for that one, they have their own integrated app, and it gives you the opportunity to actually put things up in real time while you're talking. Because sometimes, as I said, these streams go off the rails. We try to keep it focused, but it ends up going in different places. And because we're a retailer of multiple things, and we don't want to steer the customer away, so we started with them, and it's great. And then for China, we use, to your point before, we use KOLs. So there are KOLs that are here. And I'll join in with them, or my son will join in with them, because they like, they love the authenticity. They love the fact that we're in the store, we're there. So they'll ask us questions and they'll translate. So that's been a lot of fun. So sometimes they'll engage us, sometimes they won't. And then we're starting to do a little bit here. We're using their platform because it's easy to work with. And it's you can push it out to our social platforms, but they engage through this app for now. And for us as a small retailer, it's just an easy tool to work with, which is minimal investment. And so they help you through all the pieces. And I'm sure for a lot of small guys like us, it's a way to get in the game pretty quickly. There are other eyes on Shop Shops who can see that you're streaming there, and so they might, and they promote you as well. So it's been, listen, we walk before we can run, and now we're learning a little bit, and then we'll see where it takes us next.
Well, that's great. It looks like we're running a little short on time, and I want to really thank all of our panelists. It's been a fantastic conversation. It's been great to hear from some of the more established retailers and brands out there looking at this medium. I understand that the judges have come back from our Innovator Showcase that we did earlier in the conference, and we have, I think, a winner from that competition. I want to reintroduce Stephen Winnick, who's going to announce the winner. And thank you very much for all the panelists today, and really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ken. I'm joined by Michael Contrell of Gift Now. For those of you who are not familiar, Gift Now provides an e-gifting digital solution, and they're generously sponsoring the prize for today's pitch competition. Michael, can you do the honors, please? Maybe a drum roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Stephen, and thanks, Deborah. Thanks, Mara and the Coresight team for putting this together. Just like Stephen said, we've been talking a lot about shopping for others today, or shopping for yourself today, whereas Gift Now, we kind of specialize in the shopping for others journey. And with that, the winner is, and drum roll please, I assume everybody is patting their own desks. LiveScale is the winner of today's competition. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the shot. Thanks for Coresight for the invite. Thank you for all the amazing LiveScale team as well, and especially Madison that made this happen. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Geoffroy, and thank you, Michael, and Gift Now, as well as all of our other participants. And now as we transition sessions and we approach the end of our live stream commerce landscape, I'm going to pass things over to Ketty Pillay, VP Marketing at Gerber, to speak with us into the future of retail on-demand manufacturing, which is a critical technology as we see this market continue to grow. With that,
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie from Gerber Technology. And well, thank you for having me today. It's been really inspiring to see how this live streaming and the e-commerce is completely revolutionizing the industry. And as we know that 93% of the consumers will be willing to be loyal to a brand if they have a great experience. It's super important that they have this e-commerce shopping great experience, but also that the experience continues up until the moment they will wear the garment. So this is what we're going to show today into the future of not only e-commerce, but all the supply chain connected together to go from e-commerce, the purchasing moment, up until the moment the garment is made and delivered. And that includes having the best fit, having also the best quality, and that with speed. We know that consumers, they don't want to wait for days or weeks. They want it right now, especially the youngest generation. So that's super important. This process is connected, integrated, and avoid all errors. And that also goes with a topic dear to my heart, which is sustainability. That makes it possible in a sustainable way. So we have here a video from Christina, a story you made a few minutes ago. And this shows how on our website, consumers can go shop for a poncho. There are several options of images, also different garments, and they can directly make their selections online, go up until the purchasing, directly purchase online. And we're going to see how this website, this experience is completely connected. That connects the dots up until the production and up until the garment is finalized. So here you entered all your bank card details to be able to shop, enter your address, to be able to directly receive it to your home as quick as possible. And when this is done here, all the e-commerce is sending the information to the back end where you can choose your image. So that means it's completely customizable. There are 4 options for the different cities, New York, LA, and Detroit. So here we'll choose one of the image. This is LA, and then you can switch also to some others, go to the New York and see this beautiful cab with the bright colors. And the system, the pattern making system, so this is Gerber Ecommerce, automatically allows for changing the images and make it completely customized. You can place, as you can see here, in the video, the image the best way you want. You can make different versions of it. You can change the imageries. I mean, the creativity is infinite. You can have as many options as you want, and you can have, for example, some capsule collections, some very short-term imageries. You wanted to make it unique in your live shopping. So this software allows it. When it's done, then automatically, or here it's semi-manually, the system will place the different pieces of your pattern, of your garment, to be produced. So this is where the sustainability is a big piece of it, because it will place the images in a way that you will use the least possible amount of fabric. And then you save fabric to avoid all the waste. Then you go to the cutting to be able to produce, and you can see the automated solution. And the beauty of it is that it's all integrated together. It's not disconnected. So that flows from the e-commerce, the software, the hardware for the cutting, and here the sewing to finalize the garment. And this is how the technology integrates all the pieces together to have, at the end of the day, a beautiful garment with no errors, as fast as a couple of hours from really the e-commerce right to here. Christina wearing the poncho, which is finalized and which is beautiful. And you make sure that at the end of the day, the consumer is super happy and loyal to the brand. We also have the possibilities for the print to directly integrate the printing to the process, which means the consumer, you could imagine that the consumer even choose the pictures themselves. They can add themselves their own pictures, then directly print to a printer, as you can see here on the video, and that automatically flow to the cutting to be cut and then to be sewn. So when you think about such a process, which is completely connected, then you think about all the possibilities. Everything that you can make, even in 3D, and 3D is a topic we can talk in another session, is you integrate on your e-commerce site a 3D visual, so you don't even have to really produce the garment first before it's sold. And then from this virtual garment, automatically flowing to the printing, cutting, and sewing. So that gives you an idea of the endless possibilities, what can be done, and how technology can really help this to be possible, but with the best fit and the best quality, and in the shortest amount of time.
Thank you, Ketty. In terms of housekeeping from today, all decks presentations from the event will be available at coresight.com, as well as many other reports that we've written on the topic of live streaming. But before we go, as we have heard the importance of community, authenticity, building audience, platforms, purpose, and more today, we once again hope to have all of you join our second annual 1010 Global Shopping Festival, which will be a purpose-driven 24-hour live stream shopping event on October 10th. Thank you again to our sponsors, Gerber Electric Company and Gift Now, to our speakers and judges, and really to all of you for tuning in today. We still have so much to learn about this new form of shopping and really look forward to doing that together. And really thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. We appreciate all feedback, good and bad, because we really want to continue to deliver more impactful events in the future. So please share them with us so that we can continue to make these a really excellent use of your time and really educational. Thank you so much. Want to thank everyone on the Coresight side as well for all of your hard work. Thanks everyone and have a great day.